we always start with an alignment meeting, and we always make sure that we're on the call until we are actually aligned on these answers. The first question is always, what is the story? I'm going to make something up here, but it could be the story of a girl on her wedding day who gets Dunkin' because she's such a Dunkin' fangirl, and, spills it on her dress, but it's okay. So she gets the second one. Okay. Something as simple as that.
I could tell you're not on the creative side, Dale.
What is that? Why? Was that just like too succinct?
Yeah, it was just like she doesn't care that she spilled coffee on her wedding dress. Like she definitely is gonna care.
Yes, but it's meant to be. It's meant to be
a bad
fun or whatever.
One. Sorry, it's fine.
Give me one then. Go ahead. You want to use a real one?
It's about a guy who, during a global pandemic, picked up exercising and made it part of his everyday life and got better as a person in his life, and also mentally and physically as a person. He started with a hardship of, not knowing where the future would hold. And then he picked up exercising and realized that that was kind of his North Star. And he figured out what he was supposed to do with the rest of his life because of it. It's a beautiful story. And I think it's related to a friend of mine.
You stupid, man. All right. Fine. So, what we would do is she obviously, it's funny because we're role swapping. She would be the one that's going on and on about all of the details and all of the creative that came into it. And that's what happens, right? Because she's in the weeds. She's been producing this thing for, 6 months, and she's got all these themes and thoughts that she wants to capture. And, I'm in the meeting trying to help consolidate that into something that's actionable. So I'll take everything beautiful that she just said. Okay, so it's a story about how a guy overcomes, the adversity of losing his company in the pandemic through working out and rebuilding his morning routine. Would you say, if I told that story, would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, I'd say that's accurate.
Okay, boom. You follow me, fam? We got to get there. If they do not confirm, you go until you work it out. Then the next question would be, amazing, Melissa. I think it's a beautiful story. What's the audience for this?
Possibly knowing that the main person that's in the story is a male. It's probably, I would say, male millennials.
We'll add one more element to this just to keep it more realistic, which is there's usually a brand attached, right?
Yeah.
In our world, can you attach what is some
Nike?
Perfect. Okay. So great. So then I would be saying, oh, okay. So is the goal with this to really connect with millennial men? And I know it's probably workout gear. There's the tank tops and the shorts that you're really looking at, right?
Yes.
Male tank tops and shorts. Okay, great. Let's maybe talk a little bit about what do these people like, clearly are you trying to look at people that have been curious about working out? Are you trying to get more people to work out? Or are you trying to reach people that already do work out who are maybe struggling because, they have to find a different way?
I would say it's people that are currently not working out, but we're relating our brand to those people by saying that we get it. We know that it's hard. And once you try our tank tops and our shoes, it gets you into a routine and you start to pick up these habits. So that's kind of the goal.
Okay, good. So we're looking at beginners.
Yes.
Got you. So, if it ended up having a little bit more of an educational vibe, you'd be okay with that?
Yeah, I would say so.
Great. Boom. Now I know who it's for. And it does matter in the edit, for sure. There's a giant difference between, when you're catering to experts or beginners, when you're catering to different age groups. It's all about tactical empathy, which you'll hear me repeat in every podcast probably ever. But okay, great. Third question is always, what is the purpose of this video?
Basically, we want people to have an emotional connection to our brand. For people who might not, I feel like a lot of people have heard of Nike, but for, first time beginners, we want them to go out and buy our product. So for us to create an emotional connection, anytime they see, people that are during a pandemic and trying to better their life, they think back to that amazing Nike commercial, which really spoke to them. And they're like, maybe I should go buy a pair of sneakers.
Is the primary goal more to build brand than it is to actually sell more shirts?
That's correct.
Okay, cool. So, I know you guys did this incredible interview voiceover with this guy. I know there are some brand elements there. Are we saying, do we want to save that part maybe for some social cut downs? Social cut downs, you're usually selling more, right? That's more about the product.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So that's fine. Great. So I'm not going to even really, we'll show him using Nike, but I think it might be stronger if we don't even directly say Nike. You'll see him use the product.
I agree.
Okay, awesome. That's super helpful. Thank you. And then the last question, which is always, now that I have all that, how do you want to make us feel? What do you want people to feel when they see this video?
That we are speaking to them, and that we're inspiring them to get up and start working out and to start using our products.
Okay.
So I would say a combination
work.
of inspiration,
Motivated, sounds like.
motivation, and, it's also an awareness play too, but
Go on.
I think it's just, we want to make sure that we're, top of mind with with consumers. We're trying to get our brand out there again, knowing that people know who we are, but, might not go to us as a first, selection. They might go to an Adidas. So we want to make sure we get those switchers to come to us.
Right. But I mean, in terms of building, I understand what you're saying. You really want to make sure that this comes off relatable to people in the same situation.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that the story itself, hopefully the content will do that. But, it's key that I know when the thing is over, if they had to say 2 or 3 things that relatability isn't necessarily something that I can, isn't exactly actionable. I can make them feel motivated. I can make them feel inspired for sure. Is there anything else that comes to your mind?
Motivated, inspired. I would say those are probably the top 2 because this is an emotional film.
Is there a performance aspect that you care about?
I think for this film in particular, it's more about storytelling, and it's more about, it's sharing the guy's story, him putting on the sneakers and the tank top for the subtle branding cues, but it's more about connecting, with something that everyday people are dealing with. So I would say it's just the motivation. Motivation is probably number 1.
Okay, I could work with that. And obviously the last question is, are we aligned? And normally I'll say it again. I'll say, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell the story of this guy and he's overcoming adversity through learning how to work out from home while wearing Nike. And then she would say, yes, that's great. Then I would say, great. And the audience is going to be millennial men that don't work out, that you're trying to get to try your clothes to help get them to work out. And then we would have more, usually there's more of a breakdown there. What do they like? Where do they hang out? And some things like that we could get into on the call if they know. And then the third question is, what is the purpose of the video? And usually I encourage them to go into the actual business purpose, which would be, do you want to sell more clothes? Do you want to build your brand more? Are you trying to make a particular statement on a subject? Why are you making the video in the first place? And then I will ask them, hey, so if I delivered that, we would be good, right? I might not say it like that, but and I would have them confirm, yeah, honestly, that would be amazing. If you did that, we'd be set. Thanks for watching that clip from the Creative and Account podcast. If this brought you any value, please consider giving us a like, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss out on the next one.